Good afternoon. So today is January 31st. Happy Friday. And also happy end of January. We made it through low spend January together. So, for those who don't know me, my name is Tracy. For the month of January, I've challenged myself to do a low spend month. So for me, this means my regular budget for groceries is $6.20 per month, and I am challenging myself to do it for $100 this month. This is for giving me access to fresh fruits and veggies and dairy products mostly. Everything else is coming from the pantry. Proud to announce that we were successful with this. We did make it through the month. With groceries to spare, I actually won't even be going grocery shopping until next Wednesday. So we did really well. Pups behind me. I'm doing this from my bedroom because everybody is home and everybody is noisy. So you're probably going to hear some background noise, but that's just life with having children. Okay, so I've ran all my numbers and I'll just take you through what we spent each week, give you a recap, including a breakdown of categories. My first grocery trip of 2025 was January 8th. I spent a total of $11 on milk and cream for coffee. On my grocery trip for January 15th, we were really missing having some fresh fruits and vegetables. So we spent a total of $35.40 on week 2. Week 3 was January 21st. It looked very similar to week 2. We spent a total of $28.20 this week and were able to get a sweet treat. So my groceries for week 4, January 28th, my total came to $21.53. Just picked up some dairy and some bread products from Superstore. That brings our grand total in January spending to $96.08 for our family of 5. So we really were able to lean on that pantry and really make it work for us. This went a long way to reducing our spending this month. And I'll now break it down into our various categories. So usually when I do these month-end recaps on our groceries, I have 9 categories that I break it down into. However, many categories were not represented at all this month, so we ended up having a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 categories, with the vast majority of the amount being in 2 of them. So to break it down, in my dairy category, I spent a total of $62.17. That accounts for 64.7% of my monthly budget this month. In the produce category, I spent a total of $26.26, which equals 27.3% of my grocery budget this month. The remaining 3 categories were bread and cereal, which I spent $2.68, which is 2.8%. Pantry items, those were the canned mushrooms and the canned beans. I spent $3.44, or 3.6% of my budget. And then that package of cinnamon buns came to $1.06 in my treat category, so I spent a total of 1.1%. So overall, pretty successful. I knew I would be spending most of my stuff on dairy and produce. So we didn't end up just doing a low spend in our grocery category. I do tend to focus on groceries when it comes to saving money because that is our largest non-fixed expense. It's also the category that it's easiest to save money. So both the amount of savings and the ease of savings is highest in the grocery category. So that is what I tend to focus on. However, we also did low spend in other categories in our budget. So although we did have some expenditures this month, we tried to be very mindful of these expenditures and only do them if they were essential to us. So I'll try to go over those with you now. Outside of fixed expenses for the month of January, we spent $96.08 on groceries, as you just saw. So that's a reduction of 85% from our budget. We spent $22 on chicken feed. That's an average month for us. Next month will probably be a little higher because I'll probably buy a couple months in advance just in case we have some bad weather. I spent $50.48 on seeds. I actually spent 58 and change on seeds, but when I paid with my Visa, because I had to use a credit card, I actually had a credit on there. I don't use credit hardly at all, so I had a credit on there for, I don't know, a year or so. So I had like an $8 credit, so it actually only charged me $40.48. I consider that a necessary expense because seeds do sell out. So I like to buy my seeds in January, right after I do my garden plan, which will be a video coming up. Now, we planned on doing this in the spring. However, we were driving, God, this is probably like the third or fourth day of January. My husband went and bought a pair of brake pads. They were $49.31. That did come out of our car maintenance sinking funds, but it was still an expense we had this month. So that was $49.31 for brakes. And then he went to a friend's place and used their garage to put them on because we don't have a garage. And then the last sort of discretionary spending we spent, my husband changed jobs over the holiday season. He had a couple days where he worked in January on one job. It's the same company, but he goes to different sites. So in that, he lost his pliers. Now, pliers are very an important part of his job, so he did go and buy a new pair of pliers, and they were $45.98. So that was all of our non-fixed expenses this month. That's all we spent. And then I also tried to decrease some of our fixed expenses. So our power bill was $200, and this time last year it was $250. So we actually managed to bring that down by 20% this month. And what else? Oh, our phone bill. We each have a cell phone, and we are on a very low amount of plan, but I went and checked into my self-employed plan just to see if I could get even something a little cheaper, or had a credit on my account. So I managed to apply that to this month's bill. So we were actually able to bring our phone bill down by 21%. The other fixed expense we managed to decrease. And then in our gas, like Vroom Vroom gas this month, we are down 15% of our budget amount. A lot of that has to do with my husband has been taking the bus for work to save some money on gas and also on parking fees. So 15% down in that category as well. So even though we're on one income as a family of 5, by being very mindful of our spending this month, with still some few extras in there as well, we were able to save a total of 44.5% of our income generated this month went into savings. I did break that up. Some went into different maintenance funds, different sinking funds we have. But overall, 44.5% of our income for January 2025 went into savings. Now, I don't plan on doing a low spend month in February. I am going to try to concentrate on eating out of my pantry, but I'm not going to be as strict on the grocery budget. I'm excited to see how February goes. I'm not planning a low spend February, but I will like to keep a little closer eye on our numbers going forward. And I think I might make another video on Monday, because this is probably already getting pretty long, of successes, fails on low spend January. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your time. You have a great day. Bye now.